Good evening. Tonight we are coming to you live from Altadena here in California. We spent the morning yesterday here in what I can only describe as like a hurricane of fire. We thought that the building behind us was going to be standing when we came back because there were so many firefighters that were here trying to protect this. This used to be an elementary school. A few years ago, it closed down and became somewhat of a community center. But I want to show you, as you start to see fire crews coming down the road, they're going around as the sun goes down here. They're still looking for hot spots. There are flare-ups. There are hot spots throughout this area. In fact, just a little while ago, right here in this building, you've got some smoke that's starting to come up once again. There are fire lines, active gas lines spewing fire throughout these neighborhoods. There's so much devastation. But this building is kind of an outlier here because the walls are still standing up in so many of the areas that we've been to. It's just concrete. It's just concrete and melted metal and ash and debris and people sifting through to try to find whatever they can. And I want to show you something else. We're waiting for a press conference right now with Mayor Karen Bass, the FEMA administrator. And one of the things that we want to know about is you see up in the hills, you've got smoke coming up. In this direction, right on the top of this over here, this hillside, is Mount Wilson. That's where the communication infrastructure for the city of Los Angeles and for this entire region is based. It's where the television stations have their antennas. It's where comms have been established. I mean, it is such an important part of Los Angeles emergency infrastructure, and it is being threatened right now by some wildfire that has made its way up from the Eaton fire, which is where we are right now. Again, we're waiting to hear if that press conference is going to start in just a little while. We're going to bring it to you live. But this is the devastation that we are seeing all over Altadena. It's something that we saw yesterday in the Palisades, and I believe we have Steve Patterson, who was right here in Altadena yesterday. He's in the Palisades today. I was in the Palisades yesterday as well. Now we are here in Altadena. So if we can bring Steve Patterson in. Steve, I don't know if you can hear me. I've got a lot of questions for you about what we saw yesterday. I'm hoping that there are some things that are still standing there. And I know that you've probably got some questions for us over here. But starting with what you've seen today, has there been firefighting still happening? We saw a lot of apartment complexes yesterday that were being threatened, but were still standing along Sunset. Any word on whether some of those large apartment complexes are standing?
Oh, I don't need word. I can see some of the hot spots in almost a panorama around me. We can pan off and I can show you just how smoky it is, first of all. You can see on the ground level, you might be able to see firefighters are to the right a little bit. Plumes of smoke literally encapsulate this entire neighborhood, which, by the way, is all gone. We can keep showing you. Way back in the distance, you can see that huge plume of smoke. It almost looks like a cloud. That is not a cloud. That is a cloud of toxic wildfire smoke hanging over this entire community. Everything is devastated, as you mentioned, Gadi. The only thing that are standing are these concrete structures. You see a lot of chimney stacks still in place. You see a lot of homes that were built with materials that are a little bit more sustainable, but I mean, they're still burned through. There's a fire, I think, over my right shoulder. It's way in the distance, but it's still in this neighborhood, again, spewing that dark smoke. So firefighters, very active. This isn't over, and I think it's so important to say this, that just because that huge wind event that brought all the fire into the neighborhoods, that caused so much devastation, thousands and thousands of structures, I think we're saying somewhere around 2,000 between the two fires right now, that number is going to increase. I can just tell you from driving from Altadena to the Pacific Palisades, we've seen, I mean, I know you've seen it, so much devastation. It's as far as the eye can see. That we're not even seeing all of it. We're doing the best that we can, but it's everywhere. The firefighters are still very active. The winds have started again where I'm standing, just a little bit. I mean, it picks up and it slows down. Certainly not like the other few nights that we've been experiencing, but it is enough for an ember. It is enough for a couple of embers to, again, land on some roofs, land on some hillsides. Like we saw fire in the Hollywood Hills last night, waking people up. Evacuations started. Thankfully, that has been squashed, but something like that can easily start again tonight, and firefighters are just doing the best that they can to focus on these huge mega fires that have shut down neighborhoods, that have changed people's lives, so people can start dealing with the things that they're going to have to for the next year, 2 years. 10 years. Insurance, picking up the pieces, dealing with family, trying to figure out where to go next. Can you rebuild? These are all questions that folks are going to have. But we are still right now at point zero, the very beginning. The major firefighting operation is still going. There's aircraft in the sky. It's too far back, I think, behind my cameraman right now, but we can see them. So this is still very much an active scene, still very, it's still going on here, Gadi.
Yeah, that aircraft in the sky is exactly what everybody wants to see right now. Steve, I know you were out here yesterday, and so there is something that I wanted to show you. It's a little glimmer of hope, and yet it's something that we just didn't see much of in the Palisades. We're going to switch around here. So this is Franklin Elementary School, just to let people know. And I know, Steve, you were out here yesterday. These homes across the street are still standing. And I know that when we came out here, we looked at this and we're like, wow, we thought this was going to be standing, but we thought all the homes were going to be gone here. But the firefighters were able to save. I mean, there are probably 20 or 30 homes in this direction that are still standing. That way, it's a different story. It's much more like what we saw in the Palisades. But this, we were all worried about yesterday as the embers were still raining down, and firefighters were able to put up a valiant fight. However, I got to say, being out here at the Eaton fire and comparing it to what we saw in the Palisades, so far now the latest update that we're hearing from the Eaton fire is about 4,000 structures. And I know you were prefacing and couching some of the numbers that we've been hearing. The Eaton fire, I don't think, is as bad as the Palisades fire. So, again, the numbers that we're going to see, those are very preliminary there, right?
Extremely preliminary. I didn't even know about the 4,000, and that just speaks to what we're going to find and discover as, you know, sort of the major firefighting operation pares down and investigators start to get on scene. One of the things that we heard about earlier from the city is that, you know, homicide investigators are going to start combing through the wreckage. We have, you know, obviously the number of dead at the Eaton fire. There has been many people speculating that there will be a significant number here as well at the Palisades fire. And you're right, these two fires, you know, it's the same sort of network of horror between the entirety of LA County. I can't imagine what people are going through. I can't imagine ever seeing this here, despite the amount of fire that you and I have both seen doing this job. But you have to imagine it is far worse than we even know at this point. And, you know, we just don't know the full extent of it until, obviously, firefighters are able to sort of focus in, pare down these flames, pare down the hot spots that you and I are both still seeing, and really get a handle on this thing. But, you know, obviously, listening to what officials have been saying, there's a whole lot of worry about looting, about people getting into these zones when nobody is here in the dead of night. We've heard from the sheriff saying that they're going to bring in the National Guard to both Eaton and Palisades, that they're going to institute a curfew, if not tonight, then tomorrow night, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. They want to keep people out of these places so they can, again, focus, so they can keep people safe, so they can keep people's belongings safe. Because as you mentioned, there are many places, there are still homes standing, and all of their valuables are still there. So to hear about, you know, the sheriff saying multiple increased reports of burglary, of looting, that's just horrible to hear. As for the contrast of the two fires, though, I mean, it is so different. And I know we've now seen both, and we sort of switched places. But Eaton, you know, is so much more of Pasadena, Altadena, these networks of suburban neighborhoods. We saw so many neighbors, you know, just putting water on their neighbor's home or trying to create a fire break. The whole community sort of digging in to do that. And here, this urban fire, everything is just burned out. It's just so horrific to see, Gadi.
Yeah, and again, the looting is just, you know, we hope to see the best of humanity in these circumstances. Sometimes we see the worst. Hopefully that doesn't continue anymore, but we do see law enforcement out in force. Steve Patterson, thank you so much. We might check back with you in just a bit, but again, thanks so much for your reporting. And turning now to two friends that ran from the Palisades fire as those flames were closing in. We've got the moments during that escape that we want to show you, so take a look.
Let's get out of here. We tried, bro. I'm sorry. We tried our best. Yeah, and when this tree falls, it's over. Sorry, bro. Gotta get out of here.
the before and the after, and this is now the heartbreaking reality for so many people out here in Southern California. Joining us now is Tanner Charles, who recorded that video, and Orly Israel, whose family home was lost in that fire. Guys, I'm so sorry for everything you guys are going through. I can't imagine what it must be like for you tonight. But Orly, how's your family doing tonight?
Family's doing great. Everyone's alive. You know, people are finally starting to pick each other up. You know, everyone I know sat around sad as hell yesterday, and today is gather as a community and start planning how to rebuild, because rebuild isn't what we're going to do.
Yeah, we heard it yesterday. Yesterday was a day of crying. Great to hear the community coming together. But can you describe that escape? How fast did you guys have to make a decision on what to grab and then when to bail?
Well, we were planning on leaving the second we saw the smoke. So we just stood around thinking, what do we really need? And then we grabbed, just the most important things and threw the rest in the car. And then we just kind of walked around the house thinking, what would be really nice to have? And so we knew we were leaving since the very beginning. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah, and I think also we were just like fireproofing the house as much as we can before it got too bad. And so we were like dousing like the front lawn. He was in the back with the hose, I was in the front with the hose, and we were just trying to do exactly as much as we could just to fireproof the house before we left officially.
And Tanner, I mean, look, like no one knows the fury of Mother Nature like you do. You're a professional storm chaser. And yet the video that you're showing right now, it blows my mind. Like, you've been through a lot. Have you ever seen anything like this?
I've only seen a few fires in my chasing career, but I've never seen anything like this. I even talked to a resident that's been there their whole lives, and they've never seen anything like this. People are saying it was the windstorm of the decade, or even the last like 20 or 30 years, just with the significant winds that we had. And honestly, what we experienced definitely is evidence of that.
Yeah, and as you run outside, you're showing what we kind of experienced here, which is you've got embers flying sideways. You've got those high winds going. The visibility drops down to almost zero. It is apocalyptic, and really appreciate you showing this video and really showing the danger of what happens when you get stuck in a situation like that. Tanner and Orly, thank you guys so much. And Orly, like our deepest prayers are going out to your family right now. Thanks, you so much for joining us.
I'll just say, we're not going down to anything but the strongest storm in the nation. Palisades.
There you go. I mean, this is going to be a historic set of fires that no one will ever forget. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. And talking a little bit about that, it makes us think of what it was like here in Altadena that morning when we got here. It felt like, we knew that we were going to see hurricane force winds, but to see those embers blowing sideways and then to all of a sudden be surrounded by smoke, my photographer producer right in front of me, and then the next thing you know, he just disappears into that darkness and then reappears, something we will never forget. And then today, coming back and seeing those that lost everything in that same area where firefighters were valiantly trying to protect property is going to be it's going to be difficult to process. Here's a little bit of what we saw today.
In Altadena today, desolation and eerie silence, punctured by gas lines still spewing fire. In the destruction, there was a search for anything with meaning.
This is everything you own.
Everything. And then, now we're just trying to find something. I mean, I don't care, like my kid found a teacup, half a teacup, broke. She was thrilled. I mean, what else can we get, man? It's gone, bro. Here's
wow.
My gun safe.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it just holds, man.
I mean, all the guns melted together.
Yeah, and all of them are like that.
Wow.
And that's a big gun safe.
And that's in a gun safe that's supposed to offer some protection for fires.
Uh-huh.
That shows how hot it was in here.
Yep.
I know you've been here for for over 50 years. I mean, that's 50 years, half a century here.
Yep.
Are you going to rebuild?
Yep.
Right here?
Definitely. I have no choice. This is my neighborhood, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And prior to the fire, the evacuation is up there. I'm like, where would I move?
As the flames descended at 4 in the morning, Rupert Garcia tried to fight back.
This tree caught on fire. Embers are flying all over the place onto the house.
One ember even scorching his cheek.
At what point did you realize, like, I'm not going to save the house?
When my son-in-law grabbed me like this and said, no, we got to go.
Wow.
And I was like, no, man. And I turned around and I said, man, I can't go, bro. 51 years, man, I've been in this house.
Shortly after Rupert was forced to flee the neighborhood, we arrived to find what felt like a hurricane of fire. In the chaos, we spotted a horse alone and trapped in an inferno and ran to get help. This is firefighter Garrett Mora jumping to action.
I was keeping him cool. I sprayed some water around him.
Today, when we met up with Garrett again, we learned the horse survived. But across the way, Jose de la Torre shows us what was the garage full of landscaping tools he had just invested in. Now his livelihood, along with almost everything else, gone in an instant. So often we hear they escaped only with the clothes on their back.
I didn't get anything. This is it. Look at my shoes. See? These are my house slippers.
And this is everything you own?
Everything. And then, now we're just trying to find something.
Tonight, that is the shared and terrible reality.
You work hard for your American dream.
For so many in a community who came face to face with these flames.
A broken teacup. Imagine finding solace in a broken teacup. We now are hearing that press conference with Mayor Karen Bass has begun with other FEMA administrators. Let's take a look. Looks like there are some people at the podium there. We're waiting. There's the mayor approaching the podium, joined by some officials there. So we're going to listen into this press conference for the very latest of what's happening here in the Altadena fire. Hopefully some updates as to what's happening out in the Palisades as well. Let's listen in.
We're going to start with a brief update on the Kenneth fire. We're going to hear from Mayor Bass as well as Chief Crowley of LAFD. Following that, Mayor Bass will come back to the podium and provide remarks. We'll hear from FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, Senator Adam Schiff, Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, Sheriff Robert Luna, County Fire Chief Deputy John O'Brien, Fire Chief Crowley, PD Chief Jim McDonnell, followed by Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. As always, we appreciate people signing up for notifications at Notify LA. We are also joined by leaders throughout the state and federal government. We're joined by FEMA Regional Administrator Bob Fenton, Congresswoman Luz Rivas, Congressman George Whitesides, Congressman Brad Sherman, Congresswoman Laura Friedman, Congresswoman Judy Chu, Congressman Jimmy Gomez, Congressman Ted Lieu, also Assemblymember Rick Zabur, Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, Assemblymember Jessica Caloza, Assemblymember Celeste Rodriguez, as well as Assemblymember John Harabian. We're also joined by Mayor of Santa Monica, Lana Negretti. Thank you so much, and Mayor Bass, I'll pass it off to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and let me just thank all of the leaders that are here with us today. I think it is a perfect example of how we are speaking with one voice. We will unify our city, we will get through this crisis, and we will rebuild a better Los Angeles. First and foremost, of course, my thoughts are with the thousands of Angelenos impacted by these continuing fires. There is a new fire, unfortunately, in West Hills, pushing into Ventura County, and we are expecting this fire to rapidly spread due to high winds. This is a reminder that this is a very dynamic situation that can change quickly. The priority for all Angelenos remains stay safe and please follow directions from the public safety officials. When you are told to evacuate, please evacuate. When you don't evacuate, you compromise the abilities of the first responders, one, to address this crisis. You put yourself in danger and you put others in danger. Again, we know that this is an active situation. LAPD will be assisting with evacuations, and I want to thank the firefighters from all over the state and, frankly, from many other areas who have come to respond to this unprecedented situation. Now, for an update on this most recent fire, I'd like to call Chief Crowley.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Kristen Crowley, Fire Chief of Los Angeles City Fire Department. We are now actively engaged in a new brush fire. We're calling it the Kenneth Fire in the West Hills area of Los Angeles on the border of Ventura County. This fire was over 50 acres upon arrival, with the potential for rapid growth over the next hour. Over 60 fire companies from the Los Angeles City Fire Department, LA County Fire Department, and Ventura County Fire Department were initially dispatched to the specific incident. Additional resources have been requested and are en route. The fire started in the city of Los Angeles and burned rapidly into the county of Ventura. Los Angeles County Fire Department and Ventura County Fire Department are in unified command. The LAFD is now an assisting agency. There are currently immediate evacuation orders in place south of Van Owen, north of Burbank, east of Valley Circle, and west of County Lane Road. An evacuation warning is in place west of Valley Circle, north of Saticoy, east of Woodlake, and south of Burbank. I will now be providing a quick update on the Palisades fire. Current acreage is 19,978. There are currently 5,316 structures that were damaged or destroyed. And unfortunately, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families. We do have a confirmed 2 fatalities that are now due to this incident. In closing, I want to make sure that we thank the residents of Los Angeles for remaining vigilant, and this new fire shows that we are absolutely not out of this extreme weather event. I personally want to take and show, I should say, my thanks and gratitude to all of our firefighters, our first responders, and for their families for all the sacrifices, their relentless efforts in battling this historic fire. And I should make that plural, historic fires. Next up, we're going to bring back the mayor. Mayor?
Thank you, Chief Crowley, for your leadership, and thank you for that update. We'll have critical updates on the state of this emergency broadly, including resources for Angelenos who have been impacted. Again, the priority of all Angelenos remains to stay safe and to follow directions from public safety officials. I was at the command post for the Palisades fire with Governor Newsom and other federal partners earlier today, and we talked about strategies to provide relief. First, I just got off the phone with President Biden, and right before this press conference, I also spoke to Vice President Harris earlier today. Earlier today, the president announced the federal government would pay for 100% of disaster response costs from the wildfires in this area. This is unprecedented because usually it is not 100%. As the FEMA Administrator Chris Wall will discuss, new resources are also available for impacted Angelenos to recover from this emergency. So thank you, FEMA Administrator, for being here today and for your continued partnership on behalf of the White House. Second, as you heard from the update from the county, at the Eaton Fire Post in coordination with the County of LA, we have requested the National Guard, along with the sheriff, and the county has implemented a curfew in all burn areas. And actually, let me correct that and say that the county is looking at a curfew, but has not implemented it yet. In Los Angeles, we have had evacuation orders in place in the Palisades and in Sylmar. Those evacuation orders have the force of a curfew, meaning you must leave and you cannot come back into the area, period. 24 hours a day. We have to protect the area, especially from those properties that remain. I've joined the sheriff in inviting the National Guard to take on non-emergency roles and provide us with resources to keep the burn area secure so that our frontline firefighters and police officers can focus on saving lives. So let me be clear, there's going to be zero tolerance for anybody that would be, I don't even know how to say this, but that would dare to enter houses or loot property or anything from the individuals or from structures that remain standing. I was with D.A. Hochman this morning, and he made it very clear that if anybody is involved in looting or any property damage, that he is ready to prosecute to the full extent of the law. So my team is in coordination with the Adjutant General who heads the National Guard, and I've spoken with the governor about the National Guard to take on specifically non-emergency roles to free up our firefighters and officers to do the life-saving work that they do in the city so that we are sure to have enough resources to surge our first responders so that they can focus on the life-saving work. Third, we're already looking ahead to aggressively rebuild. The city of Los Angeles will lead in this effort in the areas that are impacted by the city. We are going to clear the red tape and unnecessary delays and cost and headaches that people experience in ordinary times so that we can rebuild your homes quickly. We're going to clear the way to rapidly rebuild our neighborhood infrastructure, which means roads, sidewalks, street lights, and utilities. We will clear the way to rebuild and open our small businesses and provide assistance to make it through these closures. This is a massive effort, but we will be ready, and we will get the job done by turning away from the usual city system and moving forward in a new direction. LA has to be strong, united. We will reject those who seek in this emergency, when lives are at stake and lives have been lost, we will reject those who seek to divide us and seek to misinform, because as evidenced by the leadership standing here today, we will be united. We will rebuild our city, and we will do whatever is necessary to get us past this crisis. And we can do that by being united. So let me just introduce our FEMA administrator, and I really want to thank her for coming here from Washington, D.C., obviously on very short notice, Deanne Criswell.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. First, I would just like to start by saying on behalf of President Biden, Vice President Harris, and the entire Biden-Harris administration, our hearts go out to everybody who has been impacted by this truly tragic event. And I think as you heard Mayor Bass lay out her really aggressive vision for how you're going to rebuild, I just want you to know, Mayor, that we are going to be here with you along the way to help you rebuild in a way that makes you stronger and more resilient. As the firefighters continue to bring in resources and support the suppression efforts for these fires, with the major disaster declaration, we now have the ability to begin having those conversations about recovery, as well as help the individuals who have lost everything on jumpstart their road to recovery. If you live in Los Angeles County and you have been impacted by this disaster, you can register for FEMA assistance. You can go to disasterassistance.gov. That's the best way to get into our system and start that process. You should also contact your insurance company, because we will need that information as well as we start to work with you on your claim. Some of the things that you're going to be eligible for: if you incurred costs for temporary lodging as you evacuated, if you're going to need longer-term lodging because you're displaced from your home for a period of time, if you need repairs to your home, we have some financial assistance that can help there. If you lost other things like a vehicle, we have some financial assistance. We know that everybody's situation is going to be different for each person. It's going to be unique to them. We want to be able to work with each of you individually to help you on that road to recovery, help you get to the right resources, whether it's FEMA resources, complementing what your insurance company may provide, or bringing in our nonprofit partners to help make sure that we have a holistic recovery for everybody that's been impacted. But we'll also work with you, Mayor, for things like temporary schools, temporary road repair if you need that, all these temporary measures that are going to be needed to help stabilize the community as you start to rebuild, and especially with the debris removal. And as President Biden announced, we're going to cover that debris removal and all of your emergency protective measures at 100% for 180 days, because we know it's going to take a long time to get that debris removal out. I think what I'll just say in closing here is we know that recovery is complicated. And for something as catastrophic as what I have seen so far here across Los Angeles, we know that this recovery is going to be complicated. But it is doable when we all come together with the city, the state, the federal government, our nonprofit partners. When we work together, as you can see behind us here, anything is possible, and we will help you rebuild in a way that makes you stronger, Mayor.
Let me introduce now. First of all, let me just say that the President Biden and Vice President Harris just could not have been more supportive, and various members of the cabinet. Let me introduce our Senator, Adam Schiff.
Madam Mayor, thank you. Thank you for bringing us all together.
We're going to bring in Morgan Chesky, who's out in the Pacific Palisades right now as we continue to monitor this press conference. But one question that still hasn't been brought up in this press conference, or a topic that's been spoken about just yet today in this particular press conference, is one that Morgan knows very well. Morgan, I want to ask about the fire hydrant situation and the water situation, because I know that earlier in the day, you were with the crew and there were still some issues getting water to some of those fire hydrants. Is that correct?
Yeah, Gadi, you're absolutely right. And I think what's very telling in this series of firefights is that we were at the Eaton fire yesterday in the Altadena area and witnessed crews have to fall back because there was little to no water pressure in fire hydrants there. Today, here we are in Palisades, the place where these flames really exploded in earnest on Tuesday afternoon and evening. And here we are, Gadi, day 3. And we embedded with a local firefighting crew. We arrived at what was their first fire of the day, a flare-up, a spot fire, likely caused by a floating ember that landed on someone's roof. And when we watched the fire crew find the nearby hydrant in front of the house, Gadi, there was not enough pressure to offensively attack that blaze. And as such, they had to essentially hold the hose, wait, make sure the home that they were standing next to didn't get too hot, make sure it did not ignite. Again, a defensive posture against the fire that chewed through a home. And as we waited precious minutes, a water tanker did finally arrive. But again, Gadi, fire waits for absolutely no one here.
Yeah, and Morgan, as we're chatting, I'm trying to monitor what's going on in Calabasas.
I may have lost you here. We're going to work on our comms here, but for now, we'll send it back to you.
Got it. And Morgan, while you guys work on your comms, I'm trying to get a little bit more information, but it sounds like there are possibly some evacuation warnings or evacuation orders now going into effect out there in Calabasas. We understand that there was a fire burning close to Woodland Hills, maybe sparking about an hour ago. So many people here in Los Angeles have been on alert. And then there was an alert that went to the greater Los Angeles area. It came to our phones here. It went out to the coast. People were getting it in Long Beach. People were getting it in Venice. People were getting it in Studio City. And that alert said evacuate immediately to everyone, basically, in the greater Los Angeles area. It was a very scary moment. And then we heard that that was a mistake. So we're going into tonight with a lot of unknowns and a lot of distrust when it comes to that emergency evacuation system from people that have already gone through one mistake a little bit earlier tonight. But again, we are hearing the possibility of evacuations out in Calabasas. So we're going to monitor that. We're going to try to get back to Morgan Chesky a little bit more on that water situation, which is such an important question in all of this. We're also hearing a lot about insurance failing a lot of people around Los Angeles. So joining us now is industry expert Kaya Stanley. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's just get straight into these reports that insurance companies straight up dropped fire coverage for a bunch of people in California last year, like a month ago, a few months ago. How does something like that happen?
Yeah, it's this whole situation is devastating anyway. The way that the insurance companies dropped everybody from the fire coverage is going to make it even more catastrophic. The reasons that they did it, there's a lot of reasons. One is that there was so much more risk because of the fires. And there's questions about whether the insurance commissioner was making it harder for them to adjust their rates to cover the raising costs of the risk and also the rising costs of the reinsurance. And so the reality was, and it's not just California. I mean, it's happened in other places like Florida where there's been, hurricanes. So when there's high risk areas and the costs are just too high, the carriers are leaving because they can't make money in those areas on those risks.
And the timing on this in particular seems absolutely horrible. It's actually fueling like some conspiracy theories that are totally unfounded out there, but it does have people up in arms and it is causing a lot of confusion. Is there any recourse for people that, got dropped possibly in the last couple of months before this happens? Or is that just the nature of the insurance industry right now?
Well, I'm CEO of an insurance company, but when I put on my lawyer hat, we're going to see tons of lawsuits. And whether or not they're winnable lawsuits or not, that's what we're going to see. And one of the fallouts here that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is the underinsurance. So there's people that were dropped that didn't even get new insurance. That's a problem in and of itself. Then there's a lot of people that went into the state system or got other coverage and they're underinsured, but they don't realize that they are. They think that they have replacement cost that is going to cover the cost of rebuilding their home. And it's just not true for a variety of reasons. Everything from they undervalued their house or their insurance broker undervalued the house, or regulations changed. And so the valuation when the house was originally built are completely different in the cost to rebuild it, while tens of thousands of other people are trying to rebuild at the same time, where you're not going to be able to find labor, you're not going to be able, the skyrocketing costs of materials. There's a ton of reasons why the underinsurance problem is going to happen also. But as it's not a conspiracy theory, we're going to see lawsuits galore. And just like what happened when the insurance companies walked away, the people that are going to suffer the most are the consumers, because the lawyers are going to win because they're going to be paid for the lawsuits. The insurance companies are eventually going to settle, even if they are not liable. But the consumers are the ones that are going to be hardest hit through this entire thing.
And Kai, I'm not sure if you can help us with this last question, but in this area of Altadena, we've been talking to a lot of people, and one of the big concerns is that there are a lot of non-English speaking migrant renters that have been renting out here, and the fear is that they don't have insurance. Possibly the people that are renting to them don't have insurance. If you do find yourself in a situation where you have absolutely lost everything and there is no recourse when it comes to insurance, any advice?
I just listened to that last press conference you guys just played where FEMA was talking about what they're going to do. I wish I could be as hopeful that they're going to be able to provide as much as they're promising. But we're talking about billions, like 70 billion, and the fires aren't even contained yet. So I don't have a good silver lining here. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And I just hope that the community comes together and nonprofits come together. But from an insurance standpoint, there's not going to be, the insurance companies are not going to come in and save the day here. It's going to have to come from state, federal, private sector.
Yeah, everyone for themselves sometimes, and then step in the communities. Kaya, thanks for shooting us straight on all that. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.
And coming up, we've got some other headlines from today after the break, then right back here for Southern California's coverage of the wildfires, including what's going on the ridge above us. So stay tuned.
And welcome back. As Gadi right now, as you've been watching, is chronicling history in Southern California, and a haunting one at that. We are tracking non-wildfire related news here in New York. Here are some of the top headlines that we're watching tonight. President Biden's outgoing ICE director now saying that the administration should absolutely have acted sooner to tighten border security. Here's part of what he told my colleague, Julia Ainsley.
I think we could have done more. We could have put more resources to it, either at CBP and for the border itself and with ICE.
That's PJ Lechleitner preparing to leave his post as ICE director this week before the Trump administration brings in their appointee. In Venezuela today, popular opposition leader Maria Corina Machado says that she was detained by security forces there, then later released. It happened after she led an anti-government protest in Caracas. Her aide said that she was kidnapped and made to record a few proof-of-life videos and then released. Government officials called the entire thing a lie and accused Machado of, quote, trying to get attention. Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis is now asking the Georgia Supreme Court to put her back on the Trump election interference case. Georgia's Court of Appeals removed Willis from the case last month, citing her personal relationship with the case's special prosecutor. It could be a few weeks before we know if the Georgia Supreme Court will even take up the case. Elon Musk is now saying that he will probably not find $2 trillion worth of budget cuts for President-elect Trump, backtracking on a promise that he had made since basically before the election. The budget slashing effort is supposed to be one of Musk's duties as the co-head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or just DOGE. And finally, the Screen Actors Guild, or the SAG Awards nominations, are now out, with hit musical Wicked leading the charge with 5 nominations. The Guild releasing the names in the form of a press release Wednesday morning after they canceled their live program due to the massive wildfires that, of course, are still burning out of control in the Los Angeles area. In Washington today, former President Jimmy Carter was remembered for his kindness, for his compassion, and for his character, as 4 of his successors were among those who were gathered for his funeral at the National Cathedral. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell brings us more.
The passing of a president offers a rare moment of national reflection. Stirring traditions played out today to honor the life of Jimmy Carter. The 39th president brought together decades of his successors, their interactions appearing to set aside conflicts in politics and personalities. One handshake ended nearly 4 years of no contact between former Vice President Pence and the president he served. And Mr. Obama and Mr. Trump engaged in conversation. In his eulogy, President Biden praised Carter's example of leadership.
Strength of character is more than title or the power we hold.
Sons of the late Republican President Gerald Ford and Carter's Vice President Walter Mondale read tributes their fathers had written.
It was because of our shared values that Jimmy and I respected each other as adversaries, even before we cherished one another as dear friends.
We told the truth. We obeyed the law, and we kept the peace.
Imagine that. Remembered as a global humanitarian, to his family, a regular guy at home.
My grandfather was likely to show up at the door in some 70s short shorts and Crocs.
Jimmy Carter's long, faithful journey ends tonight, forever a son of Plains, Georgia. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News.
Kelly, thank you. You saw President Trump there right now. President-elect Trump's sentencing is set for tomorrow in the criminal hush money case in New York. He had pursued several legal avenues to try to delay it, but tonight, the Supreme Court just now itself rejecting his last-minute plea. NBC's Vaughn Hilliard has the full details.
Tonight, the Supreme Court rejected this last-minute petition from Donald Trump's legal team to delay his sentencing. So tomorrow morning, beginning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time in Lower Manhattan courtroom, Donald Trump, the incoming president of the United States, will be formally sentenced and have the label convicted felon placed next to his name. Now, to note, Judge Merchan, who is overseeing this case, has already indicated that he will likely give him unconditional discharge, which will amount to no prison time, no probation, and not even a fine. And so really there's no major actual consequences outside of leaving Lower Manhattan Courthouse as a convicted felon. We expect the president-elect to appear virtually. The judge gave him that opportunity. He is back at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida here. But this comes, of course, back in May after he was found guilty unanimously by that jury on those 34 felony counts for falsifying business records to cover up the hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels to influence the 2016 election. And so for President Trump's legal team, they went to the Supreme Court here this week, asking them to step in and delay the sentencing, saying that he's in the middle of this transition. He's about to take over the White House, and that the sentence should be delayed. And yet the justices, by a 5-4 decision, decided to reject that effort, noting that they said that having that sort of a sentence of unconditional discharge with no prison time would make the sentencing from moving forward really be insubstantial. And so for Donald Trump, he will be moving forward with the sentencing, but he indicated tonight from Mar-a-Lago that he'll continue to appeal the actual verdict and take it to the New York appellate decision. And so this is not over at this point in time, but at least for now, he will move forward with that sentencing in the Lower Manhattan courtroom.
All right, Vaughn, thank you so much. And on the legal front, a lot of big news happening right now. So that proceeding, that hush money sentencing, was not the only thing that former President Trump, President-elect Trump, was trying to stop. He's also been attempting to block the release of the report from the Department of Justice that detailed his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Well, tonight, a federal appeals court ruled that the DOJ can, in fact, release that report. However, they said there must be a 3-day delay, which has to stay in place. So that Trump now has that time to file has any further appeals. For his part, Trump has said that releasing the report would interfere with his White House transition. Back now to the weather, and obviously you have the deadly wildfires continuing to rage right now in California. At the same time, parts of the South are facing extreme weather as well. Snow and ice have hammered Texas, and more is expected tonight. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson is in Dallas with more.
Well, Sam, right now here in Dallas, it's really just a lot of rain that is coming down. But we did see earlier today there was sort of this slushy, wintry mix that was coming down some parts of North Texas and even into Oklahoma and Little Rock, seeing some snow accumulation. But the big concern here remains the roadways. You know, this is the South. A lot of people are not accustomed to traversing this kind of terrain, talking about the potential for snow and especially ice. Ice is the big concern. And so officials have been asking people to stay off the roads so that they can get crews out there to de-ice and to drop sand and salt in case some of that snow, more of that snow, starts coming down. And so they're asking folks to hunker down and sort of heed those warnings. We know that governors in Arkansas and Georgia declared states of emergency today in anticipation of this winter weather. And we're talking about 75 million people from New Mexico to Virginia that are dealing with these just frigid temperatures and these potentially dangerous road conditions. And you know, folks who are traveling by air are also feeling the chill. Here in Dallas, there have been some 1,800 flights that have been canceled so far today. The majority of flights canceled nationwide here in Dallas, so causing some major travel disruptions. And of course, this is not over yet. While we have not reported any fatalities or major power outages at all, this is going to continue through the night as this storm begins to move into Nashville and Atlanta early tomorrow morning. Sam?
All right, Priscilla, thank you so much. Stay safe out there. We're going to take another quick break, but we have new developments now from Southern California. Gadi is going to join us in progress with the very latest, including on the Kenneth Fire, which has now exploded to some 800 acres and breached into Ventura County. Gadi will join us momentarily.
And we're coming back out live here in Altadena as we're monitoring this video coming in from our sister station KNBC here in Los Angeles. That, we believe, is the fire that is now threatening the community of Calabasas, possibly the Woodland Hills area. Excuse me. And from what we understand, mandatory evacuations are underway for many in that community. So if you live in Calabasas, gather your things, start making an exit plan, because that fire is moving very quickly. And, you know, we just heard some sirens out here. As darkness descends, you've got the smoke that's coming off of the fire still smoldering here. And then you go through your head, what could it be? It could be, you know, a flare up out here. It could be somebody possibly hurting themselves and emergency responders going in. Or it could be the possibility of looting. Looting is a real concern here in Altadena. It's been a concern out in the Palisades. A lot of times these types of circumstances really do bring out the worst in some people, but we also want to focus on the best that it brings out. These devastating times, people are jumping to help those impacted all across Los Angeles. Restaurant owner and chef Andrew Gruhl joins us now. He's been helping gather the liver donations. Chef, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for everything you're doing. You're feeding not just hungry people, you're feeding people's souls. Tell me, first off, you and your family, are you guys okay?
We're good. We're down in Orange County, so we're right at that border, right at Long Beach and Seal Beach. So we've got a good, safe place right now. Everybody is great. Thank you.
Awesome. Give me a second. We're getting kind of hit by some really weird smelling stuff. So I'm going to put this on. I hope you can still hear me. Sorry about this. Can you talk to us about the efforts that you guys are doing right now? How many people have you been able to help, and how can people at home help?
Yeah, so we have actually just, amidst all of this tragedy, the goodness in people has come out. Originally, when the fires popped up, I put out a call to action. I said, anybody who's leaving Los Angeles, coming south, use our parking lot. We'll be able to set you up with a little camp. We'll give you free meals, free food, and then we'll also try and even house you if you can. We're offering people to come and stay at our house with our family. We got 4 kids, but heck, why not? And from that, we said we'll also take some donations, we'll take some products, and then we'll drive it up to Los Angeles to either the Dream Center, the Convention Center in Pasadena, which is south of that Eaton fire. And people just showed up in droves over a 24-hour period. When I say droves, I'm talking we have hundreds of people that came in, thousands, upwards of $50,000 to $60,000 in products. And we have been driving it up, trucking it up. People are bringing their own cars and trucking it up to the Dream Center or the Convention Center, dropping these goods off. The city of Huntington Beach actually donated their public utility trucks, and all of the utility workers loaded up the trucks and drove it to Los Angeles. We now have an entire parking lot full of product that we're coordinating. I'm going to take 2 more trips up there with my kids and my family. We're going to drop more product. We dropped about 400 meals last night with the World Central Kitchen in Pasadena at the Convention Center. So it is unbelievable. And I'm not talking $20,000 checks here, right? These are like $5 to $10 donations in product from thousands of people across the country. It truly is heartwarming. It's amazing.
Yeah, every little bit helps. I mean, we've also got, the Red Cross obviously does incredible work. We had a number on the screen just a little while ago where you can call in. But it's so nice to see people just having an idea, making it happen, stepping up, and then using social media, using everything they can. And the next thing you know, it's contagious, right?
It really is. And because everybody really wants to help, and sometimes, right, it's great. You give the donations. Red Cross is a wonderful organization. World Central Kitchen is a wonderful organization. Some people just have bags of product and they're thinking, I want to get these to people in need. I mean, kids' shoes, clothing, wipes, baby formula, baby food, all of that you don't think is not available. When you walk out of your house, these people are left with absolutely nothing. So we said, let's get that product directly to the people. The beauty of us being a small business and a family-run business is there's no middlemen. So we can be very efficient, we can be very quick, and there's no overhead, actually. So we're feeding all the people that are helping us. We're giving them free meals, as well as anybody who comes down here who's been evacuated. We've actually got a bus in the parking lot right now, a family that's looking for a place to stay. We're feeding them, and then ultimately they're going to move on to another spot.
Andrew Gruhl, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. You are an inspiration for humanity. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight. I know you're a very, very busy man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure. And if you want to help, here's some organizations that are accepting donations, providing shelter: the Red Cross, Cal Fire Benevolent Foundation, the California Community Foundation, California Fire Foundation, Salvation Army, the World Central Kitchen, chef you just heard from, and then there are so many other people that are starting to gather resources. And again, that phrase, they escaped with the clothes on their backs. That's not a cliche. So many people we have talked to, that is their reality right now, and it's something that we should all keep in mind as we head into another night of uncertainty. The Palisades fire has destroyed so many houses of worships as well, and there's still one standing tonight that Jacob Soboroff visited. They've got a pretty inspirational story as well. Take a look.
Everything across the street from the synagogue burnt down, but the synagogue is still here. What's it like to see it?
Surreal.
Unbelievable.
For Rabbis Amy Bernstein and Daniel Schur and Cantor Chaim Frankel, seeing the Kehillat Israel synagogue standing amid so much devastation is staggering.
Look at this. This is the ash that came through the door?
Yeah.
Knowing what happened outside of these walls and seeing even just this piece is...
The remnants of the Palisades is right here.
Wow.
This is the community in which I went to preschool.
Yes.
My siblings had their bar mitzvahs here.
This is now a refuge for the entire community, not just the Jewish community.
You know what, Chaim? You could fill the sanctuary with your congregants who have lost their homes.
Correct. Yes.
At least this home is standing for so many people, so many of us. This is our home.
When tragedy strikes and disaster strikes, we turn to our faith. And that's what this represents. I sing this lovingly for our community to heal. Baruch Shem Kivod, Shem Kivod Malachuto, Leolam
To faith. Jacob Soboroff, thank you so much for that. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. Stay with NBC News now for more coverage of this developing story. And the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.